5 ways to improve your lockdown running. So I've just been back from a nice leisurely walk out for our daily exercise, and I've seen runners, which is great to see. Everyone's still running. A lot fewer runners out there, but that's to be expected with the weather change and some people opting to stay in rather than going out for their run. But in terms of what I've seen, there are 5 ways you can make your running much easier. And the first thing that I witnessed was a lot of people running with their phones in their hand. And the problem that I have with people running with their phones in their hand is that you don't get to use both your arms properly. Having anything in your hand, 1, it causes tension, and 2, it affects your arm swing, and ultimately your arm swing is what is going to impact your running form as well. So if you can get rid of that thing in your hand, whether it's the water bottle, whether it's the phone or your keys or whatever, if you can just strap it to yourself, it's going to make a big difference in terms of keeping your hands free so that you can swing them. Okay, so that's the first tip to improving your lockdown running. The second one is, please stop plodding. Listen to your feet. If you're listening to music to escape and whatever, then great. But check out for or look out rather for traffic and everything. But every now and again, just listen to what your feet are doing in terms of the amount of noise your feet are making. If you're pounding the ground, you're going to be plodding and you're going to be making a lot of noise. And that's something we don't want. We want to be as light as we can on our feet. I'm not saying that we will have to run like gazelles, but what I am saying is to be aware of how much noise your feet are making, because generally the more noise you're making, the more impact you're placing on the ground or into the ground, and ultimately how much force is coming back through the body and your joints and those ankles, knees and hips and everything, which are going to have to take the brunt. Okay, so minimize and try and run as light as you can on your feet, and just listen out for the sound that your feet are making. The third thing is to stand up. The number of runners I saw crooned over at the hips. So instead of being upright, we're crooned over at the hips. We're kind of hinged over and potentially running and leading with the forehead and the chin kind of thing, and the hips are kind of too far back rather than being stacked underneath you. Okay, so in terms of your posture, stand up a lot taller, and that will help you with your running form and make your lockdown running a little bit easier. The fourth thing is to actually face forwards. So I know that it's much easier to potentially trip and stuff on things, especially if you're weaving to social distance and everything. But in terms of where you should be facing forwards, as in your face should be facing forwards. You shouldn't be facing down, shouldn't be facing up. We want you facing forwards, roughly 30 meters ahead of you. And in terms of where your eyes, you can use your eyes to check out for trip hazards and everything. You can use your eyes to keep an eye on the path in terms of when you're weaving around people. But in terms of your face, let's have it facing forwards instead of facing down. And the fifth one is to use both of your arms, to use them more. In terms of, I've seen so many runners who are running along and they're not using their arms. They're hardly using their arms. And the propulsion for your running, propulsion as in what drives us forwards more, comes from the arms, in terms of the more powerful you swing your arms, the more powerfully you're going to drive forwards. The quicker you move your arms, the quicker your legs are going to go as well. So use both of those arms. Don't have them hanging down the side. Don't keep them still. Look out for if you're using one arm more than the other, and try and use both of them equally to give you that balance in your running form that is going to help you drive forward. So they are the 5 ways to improve your lockdown running. If you're using running as a way to escape, to stay fit, to meditate, to just have some me time, all right? There are lots of reasons why people are now running, which is great to see. And these 5 tips of hands-free, stop plodding, stand up, face forwards, and use both your arms are going to be of help, hopefully, in terms of improving how you feel when you're running.